where Elk is going to want to end up.
Aphelios first pick. Feels like home again, doesn't it? It just feels like 2020. TT, on the other hand, with no Zeri available, means we might see Varus again, Lyric. Varus? Ashe? Both are available.
I think for Huanfeng, he still looks best in my mind on the Jins and the Varuses of the world. Last week, we actually, or it was even this week, him bringing out the Cho'Gath, which we didn't get a chance to see because Ucal giving up first blood at like 30 seconds in against JDG. Kind of disappointed. I would have loved to actually see how that strat was supposed to work out. And then this. I hope they take this away because this has been Shun's bread and butter pick, the split when he isn't getting his hands on the carry. This is most played, 62% win rate. And yeah, they go for it. They have the all-in. They have the single target CC to be able to look for Bin. We saw the great combos that was able to come out from it last game from Weibo. And now TT going to set themselves up in a very similar manner.
But Lyric, please no Wukong. Please, Sejuani's banned. We know this is always the handshake deal. Please. Oh, yeah, Sean.
You get it.
Thank God, man. Like, out of any jungler in the league, he is someone who 50-50 is going to pick something like this. There's Kindred. They said they're like playing towards topside. Lyric, let's be real. Now the possibilities for solo lanes just get that much more interesting.
They do, and especially picking this up against the Vi, she's going to come in, you pop that Lamb's Respite, and then helping survive, making sure Aphelios can get through, sustain up, especially if he's on the red gun, and really be able to win out the war of attrition. And they're just going to go with one of these kind of tried and trues, bringing the Galio alongside with it. It potentially signals like the use of like a Camille later on, so I wouldn't be surprised if once we get the second round of bans, if that one is taken off the table. But we're going to see here for TT having the Varus. So far, signaling that they want to go with the Ashe and keep up that strong prio in bot. Looks like they're going to go for it. So again, Camille being one of the things I highlighted. I don't know if they necessarily will feel pressured to index heavier into AP, like if they wanted to get Bin on. Bin's been someone who has played the Gwen and has played the Ken in this split, so we always do got to keep those in mind as well.
Oh, it's a nice touch-up. Yeah, it would add another AP threat, all-in threat, especially with Aphelios being a bit more backline. Lyric. I'm excited for this comp for BLG. On the other side, TT looked like that pick potential is a bit dangerous, though, to keep an eye on as we get rid of an engage tool on TT's side. That's the Nautilus taken away up against the Ashe. I'm curious if they go more towards a support path here, as On has been someone who's like Leona. I can see him as a Pike, as we've seen in the past. Like, support seems to be the angle here.
Yeah, wanting to dodge that one out and looking at where TT can go here. It'd really be nice if TT can find something that has some formidable range in the mid lane, which is kind of like the Talia really being the thing that stands out, being left open. I wouldn't be surprised if TT want to take that away. Ucal hasn't played it yet this split, but on top of working really well with the Vi, you have an Aphelios, you have a Kindred on the opposite side, outrange them, play from a distance. They go for the Cassiopeia, so Ucal really wanting to find an advantage in this mid lane matchup. Like, you can seriously just hammer away those E's on the Galio and make his life a living hell.
True. Again, like a strong mid for Ucal. We've been talking this guy up, and we're going to now see if he can bully away this, I guess, longer standing veteran towards mid. On looking at engage tool though, Lyric, they banned a Blitzcrank against him that he's already played, but On has a huge champion pool. This is a classic from what we saw once upon a time here from this X-suiting support. Now, as we get that in, you also mentioned so nicely, you said Bin's played the Cannon before. It would fit here so perfectly, and that all-in would just be complete.
Oh, they maybe end up baiting us in the end. Maybe banking on the fact that they have enough damage already coming out from AD jungle. They don't feel too pressured to index into AP. I think it would have been cool, especially then, like, if you find flanks or find engages against like an Ashe, Cassio, Varus, they would all just be dead in a Slicey Maelstrom. But sadly, we're not going to get to see that here today. And Hoya now going to get his answer to the Gnar pick. I feel like they potentially want something with a bit of front line because they aren't all that tanky. But like, had we gotten something like in a really crazy like counter matchup, that would be cool. And hell, they might still be looking for that. They're going to go with the Jayce. So earlier we talked about with mid laners looking to outrange the enemy. They're going to do that up here with top side. So arrows flying at you, accelerated shock blast. Cassiopeia's range also pretty decent. even if she's more of a mid-range champion, but trying to make sure Aphelios and Kindred can't get into that zone where they're very effective. Shin would need some marks under his belt before that really became a thing, but the shining light for BLG, they have engage from Leona, they have frontline, they have the Mega Gnar, they have the Galio to follow up. If they can get on top of TT, if they can find like the huge wombo combo, you can just blow them up.
But I was going to ask you a little bit more about the lanes here for TT, because it feels like they've drafted some pretty strong lanes. Boys, that's Waver, that's OMG, that's Top Esports. 8 right now is cementing the others fighting for a playoff spot. BLG and TT won't lock it in with today, but it feels like this win could give them that edge in the next matchup. It would be a lock-in in that next matchup as well. And so that's why this is ever so important as LPL runs into its penultimate week here on the beautiful Monday. BLG, Shun on the Kindred. Lyric, speaking of range, late game, Aphelios, Kindred, they're going to be shooting stars at this point as well. So I think something to keep on track is that when we do get a couple of those Kindred marks, when Aphelios does have himself a couple of items too, BLG are going to be dishing out the damage to match.
Oh, they will just out DPS. Like on the side of TT, you always have the Cassiopeia for the DPS, but at the same time, I don't feel like you should ever want them to get in range of you for you to bank on Cassiopeia trying to trade blows with Aphelios and Kindred toe-to-toe, right? You can already see Comet coming out for Huanfeng. They're really realizing of kind of going down this poke-style route. It's going to be about whittling them down and then re-engaging with Vi or picking them off with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. In a straight-up 5v5 where we're in mid-game and we're on even footing, I actually feel like BLG would be feeling incredibly confident just from having people like On and Bin able to soak damage and able to close the space.
And Shun is actually walking down, red buff in hand. They're going to get rid of this ward. I guess he was just angling in case there was a potential hit from Yagao and Huanfeng, but instead Shun goes back to his Krugs. Starting on the bottom side, as noted before, there won't be any vision if he decides to cross the map, but we'll keep an eye on what Beichuan does to match out. Because Lyric, we know that Kindred is going to be looking for that first scuttle spawn. You have a 50-50. You literally just have to wing it and hope that you're on the right scuttle at the right time.
Shun, though, I mean, if there's anyone who should have those like deep, tingling Kindred senses of where marks will appear, there's no one who has, you know, more games on this champion in the LPL than him. But also will consistently potentially be spotted out, so they do now know that he was just doing that. And maybe Beichuan and team can play around it accordingly. Should know the potential of a bot lane gank or bot side invade is possible.
They think he's pathing up towards top. There's a ward down here. Beichuan thinking, now they know. Vision spots him out. Shun is walking into a trap. However, Yagao's by his side, so maybe it's Beichuan that has the information but can do nothing about it.
So it's one of those things where TT with the Hawkshot know it's possible. They know the invader or bot side gank or what's going to happen. But Shun also knows that the Hawkshot spotted. So having Yagao, I guess he didn't spot him, right? But spotting the Raptors. Having the Galio start moving over, making sure he can at least get out and realizing, hey, at the end of the day, this really isn't going to turn into anything, seems to be the right call. And both junglers just go back to their own devices. We said a lot of it's going to be down to TT wanting to find lane advantages. They've maintained a push in bot. So far, mid looks about even, but no real significant trades really coming out on either side so far.
No, actually a good start to the lane for Yagao in that manner as well. Ucal with the kite away as we move the camera here. Suddenly, Yagao starts getting bullied a lot more than we've already seen. We did talk about Ucal having a bit of priority here, and especially talk about that bottom lane as well, which is already shoving up. So you can see the vision reciprocates that fact that Ucal and Huanfeng had a lot of priorities on. Gets the engagement with Yao Yao. Meanwhile, that Ashe has to burn the flash, and with the dash out, Yao Yao, oh, he's almost cashed. Elk gets blocked by Huanfeng. The saving grace from his AD is Yao Yao a step too far.
Yeah, Huanfeng, I mean, just being a brother there to Yao Yao, making sure it doesn't go down. We said opportunities like that can always present themselves even pre-6 for the side of BLG. If oversteps come through, they do. And now getting a summoner, they're going to be able to look to punt in. I mean, Shun potentially going to be coming back down towards bot. His Krugs are up right now. Once the back to lane, maybe a gank can come on through. Level 6s, that flash will still be down, so Yagao can get involved. So now for BLG, you're keeping your eyes on that bot lane because there's blood in the water.
That push up is going to attract some unwanted attention, I'm sure, as Beichuan clearing up his top side will end up getting towards bot. That was a weird little hammer back from Hoya, but Bin goes into brush, and that's just about that. But Lyric, we are getting close to level 6. I think it's important to note that with your little game plan in mind, with your ability to enhance strong lanes, level 6 for both these teams seems pretty cracked.
For TT, it gives them the ability to start looking for those picks. Again, do what we saw with Vi earlier on and start singling members out. Yao and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, I think, is really going to be the big one. So then it doesn't have to specifically, really could be anywhere around the map with what's going on. And now for BLG, I feel like their ults just make them feel more comfortable in like even numbers fights. 3v3s, 4v4s. They're going to have a lot of big team fight ults to lock a lot of people down. And like we said, they have the front line available to be able to enable that.
On's going to be already pulling that into gear, isn't he? Huanfeng getting a bit of information from Yao, thankfully enough, as On was hiding in brush. But BLG are the ones starting on this dragon. Now, I didn't get to catch Scuttle here whether Xun has a mark, but we're about to find out if he's marked any target here because this is turning into a fight. Bit of poke damage down as well, Lyric, using that range with the flash to engage. The hero's entrance is perfect. First blood over to the Aphelios as Xun goes over the wall, flies through. Didn't receive a mark from that, but he's going to get the dragon. And ladies and gentlemen, BLG are off to the races.
Not really having anyone who feels comfortable stepping forward, even try to make their way towards threatening engage. Is now fight coming out in top side.
Hoya is going to have to get out of there. He's got flash available, but Ben's whacking him hard, looking for the turn. Hoya, a good sidestep. Oh, Ben. That was clean.
Still nice by Hoya to like realize that he can go for that trade afterwards and has the damage available now, being in a gun form to be able to trade evenly. So we're gonna see.
It's a mark. It's another one. Well done. All right, Lyric. Replay done.
Yeah, gonna go into the replay, dodging out. Again, I don't really know what they were angling for here because there's no one who can safely walk into the core that BLG have on this dragon. You do see Beichuan like queuing up towards the top side of the fight. Maybe if you have ulti on Beichuan or Yao, you can try to quickly burst someone out. But even then, you just have to worry about Yagao always having the ability to come in. So I feel like things are off to a pretty good start for BLG when I have faith in their comp more the longer this game goes on. And TT not really able to get anything up off the ground so far.
We're about to find out now with Solon engaged. Yelk hits level 6 into Yao. They flash forward. Just shurikens the hell out of him on absorbs damage. But look, the response onto Huanfeng. Elk and Xun getting yet another kills. Beichuan is the mark target. They need this kill in the jungler. But Ucal, Black Petrifying Gaze hasn't come out just yet. He wants them to look at him. Medusa! There it is. It's cleansed away with the beautiful timing. The ult from Xun. That lamp spike keeps him alive. Turns around on Beichuan. Elk is alive too, but they survive the Snake Lady. Her Serpentine Grace lingers over, but Elk will not be seduced this time.
2 for 1 in favor of BLG. It also allows the push out to come in mid from Yagao. Gonna freeze him up. Maybe even got a plate. I'm not quite sure, but a plate coming out from your Galio would feel pretty nice when you're in this lane. So it does manage to get that one. Didn't even need his ult. So finding wins on the bot side when you don't even need the Galio ult feels even more significant. Though Yagao, you're being a bit greedy, my dude, as we're gonna get to see in bot lane. Again, BLG having comfort in like 3v3 skirmishes, having things like Leona that feel comfortable stoking the damage. He does that, but Elk flashing forward, having all the Joshams there. Sure, one trade comes back, but I love how forward Elk played the fight. So then Huanfeng really having no path where he can retreat for that to come out. And then here, like you said, Ucal wanting to try to find the ult. Because,
uh-oh. Boy, he's in trouble. Well, he's not anymore.
He wasn't, then he almost put himself back in trouble, but at the end of the day, he is doing just fine.
Speaking of trouble, this is an all-in. There's the cease and assist, and they're going to need a bit of assistance themselves. On gets poked out, Huanfeng on the money. 80 carries a big in our game 1.
Exactly, the difference maker there being that Huanfeng roaming over towards his top side. We see now Elk stayed in bot lane to get this wave pushed in. We'll be able to get this one and at least secure himself some plate gold down in that bot lane. Already having the Vampiric Scepter and the sword in the pocket, but still opening up for TT to be able to get this Herald. Doesn't really look like there's any obvious...
Yeah, okay.
Why did they drop it?
I'm not sure. I guess they just wanted the inside track. It's going to work out though, but the hero's entrance, he gets a 2-man. TT may have dropped this Herald for, I guess, a quick one, but they lost mid. Lyric, he seemed awfully confused.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... Like, that has to be a misclick, right? It just seems so such like weird timing to not set anything up for a Herald play. You just instantly throw it down to have it get a charge off mid. Cool, but yeah, I don't know. That that Herald actually amounted to nothing for TT.
Fun.
Blue buff though does go over, so at least Huanfeng
so worth it in the end.
Light.
Lyric,
I don't know. I don't know if that's if that makes the Herald play worth it, but
I have a really important question for you. Does BF Stored stand for what I think it does? Does it stand for what we all think it stands for? Over the years, it's been in the game forever, and Riot's never really acknowledged it. But the initials are quite obvious. And
yeah.
I've just always wondered if I was on the money or if there's something hidden.
No.
Completely missing.
You are definitely right. You are 100% right, but
okay.
You know,
just have to double check.
There are no more BF swords in pocket, so now actually having a fully upgraded Bloodthirster. Also, Rod of Ages already coming in for Yagao. The only mythic on the side of TT so far is Huanfeng. He was able to get a few kills for himself. But I want to see the explosion now. I want to see On get some XP, hit level 6, Solar Flare come out, Moonlight Vigil follow up.
Oh yeah, there it is. It's got Gravitum as well. Flash from On. Hey, did you want a Solar Flare, Lyric? It's not available yet. He's level 5, but Beichuan is definitely dead. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run. Beichuan's about to be dead. Oh, that was crumb. My God. Well, On gets the kill. At the very least, you take that when Elk was the one chasing you down.
Yeah, not the worst case scenario at the end of the world. Probably even decently close to being able to buy enough time for an execute, but nowhere left to go. This will open up for BLG to take the Drake. And I mean, so far, this game has just been fully in favor of BLG. I feel like a lot of it is also coming down to how the drafts did pan out, but BLG have also been executing on what they need to execute on, and Elk being the one you highlighted, right? 32% of the team's damage for BLG. If they can start getting him ahead, it really feels like that's the way to do your best to ensure that Bilibili get a win.
And they've done exactly that. They've got a 2k gold lead, in fact, in this early game. A lot on that 80 carry, despite the CS being down a little bit from Huanfeng. But I think as well, we haven't talked too much about the solo laners, but Yagao's been able to keep up, Lyric. I've just got a massive TT add-on at the moment at the bottom of our screen when we're in a T funnel enough. But I don't think I've seen a Galio in a range matchup be this close in CS. In fact, he's up. How is Yagao up in CS?
Let's remember the time when Ucal went bot to try to find the kill, and that's what pushed Yagao over that line. But Ucal being very vigilant of his mana in those first few levels, he would typically get a few levels under your belt and he could really just punish that Galio. Wasn't able to do so before BLG had already started to find the kills and find the fights that they wanted. But sir, you have now some time to have your weeb analogy for the great BLG TT showdown.
Well, it can't be Rock Lee versus Gara because I think that is a bit too poggers, right? Like the weight dropping, everyone's goosebumps drops at the same time. It's like, oh,
you need to go with something very hipster.
Okay. It's like the ending of Angel Beats. You want both these teams to be beautiful, and you want them to meet up again, but it's not going to be the way. It's a very sad ending because they're both at equal levels and deserve maybe another best of 3, but I'll try for something better, but for now,
No, this is the ending of Angel Beats. I love it. Everyone else loves it. BLG love it. They love it so much they're taking a bot lane turn off of it. So
it was so sad. It was just so beautiful.
I'm with you.
Oh, Yagao! He gets hit, and Beichuan has an ulti as well. He's going to plop it in, but this is hard to kill the Galio. Petrifying Gaze, though. Does Yagao get to move?
No, doesn't get to move. I even love Beichuan moving forward, saving that Q, pushing him back even further. Yagao accepting his fate. Now going to get some Merc Treads online, so maybe hopefully can get stunned up a little bit less. But finally some signs of life from TT, getting a pick that we've really been asking for from,
for years.
5 minutes, yeah, decades, some would say.
Oh my God, League of Legends game. I mean, we're just looking at a timer. That's our time. As back's going to be stopped here onto Ucal. Elk playing it very dangerous. He's got Gravitum. Huanfeng alongside, but Ucal still going to be hit hard. Some good kiting from Elk. You got to remember, that's our time. 15 minutes in the game, ladies and gentlemen, that's human time. As far as you know, the in-game timer for real League of Legends champion, this could be like a decade. And they just play really slow.
It's more. I feel like, I mean, I saw pictures of TT at the start of this game where they were back in the 70s.
And Yagao? Yeah, it might feel like it. We're discoing, aren't we? Good arrow out, but Beichuan can still be dead as doo-doo. Elk, all he needs is one more, but Yagao will smack him down. That's Jungler dead in the face of next Rift Herald as well. And another kill going over to Yagao. Good picks from BLG as well.
BLG continue to push forward. Now they're just going to get the Rift Herald, so it's a slow burn, but it's a slow burn that, like, the firefighters are coming. It's gonna keep burning. You know, it doesn't feel like there's any safety or anything you could rejoice for TT for. I really don't feel like this game gets easier whatsoever. We're gonna get a replay. Oh, okay, we're gonna replay what happened to mid. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes on through. I mean, actually nice. I don't know if that prediction was meant to be, but gets locked down, not able to move. The ult comes straight out. Yeah, literally locked down. He was locked down until like the very last second. He's like, what do I do? What do you even do?
You just sit there, you just walk away, you know. I don't know what punishments you get from I don't think you're allowed to get up off your feet off the stage, but Yagao could definitely go to the bathroom in that time as well. Beichuan died after though, Lyric, so at least they got a pick back.
I feel like that's when you okay. Is anything going to happen here? Kind of living life on the edge.
Arrow, all flashed away from. Beichuan jumping in, he ults into Shun in the backline, but Elk's here. They're going to get defensive ult on him. Beichuan has to ult himself. Chains Corruption in a choke, always effective. Shun does survive the extended trade though, which is good, but TT again, Lyric, they're starting to use their range well.
And also BLG, I mean, this was a problem for On back in the day on the likes of Suning, on the likes of Labo, where going too far forward to find vision by himself, oversteps, gets picked off. You know, we just come from a replay, so I don't know what information they were working with in terms of where TT was showing on the map. But it didn't look like TT were showing anywhere on the map. It looked like they were potentially coming out from resets, which makes it an even more kind of egregious mistake to make on the side of On, and will lead TT to finding a much-needed dragon, stopping the stacking from that one, and maybe buying them some time to find more mistakes.
But it almost gets stolen away. In fact, Beichuan's dead from it. So Lyric in that is Shun. Woo! No Lamb's Respite, instead plays it close to the chest. They do get a kill.
I have a question real quick, though.
Please.
You know, is the feed becoming slideshowy for you as well?
No, it could just be you. Are you Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto? Is that your experience?
I might be, because suddenly Ben is like taking a turret and then he is recalling in mid lane.
Do start moving your arm. If you can do the robot, it's a sign. That's what's happening. Also, what is the song? Are there any songs about robots? Like, hang on. Songs about robots. Apart from the one I just...
Here, while you look for that, we'll see here how Beichuan... I mean, they just come out with the pinch on him. Get taken down is... Suddenly he's there for me, and then he is not. Huanfeng able to follow up with some nice damage on the way out. But still, BLG... Oh, wait. Hysterics, we might have a...
Yeah, Bin is not a Mega. They're going to burn TP, but look, he's still not dead. The arrow flies through. It's too early. Bin's about to go Mega as well. TT, get out of there! As the shock blast misses as well, Beichuan takes my advice, and BLG bring the cavalry in. Lyric, we've been talking about that all in. We said the draft revolves around it. As soon as BLG group up and they act like Tony Soprano and his captains, TT need to respect that.
Yeah, TT still having nothing that can really make them get in range. Huanfeng is really going to have to do so much in this game, along with Hoya, but we haven't seen Hoya even group up with the team just yet. It's been all about looking for side lanes, Moonlight Vigil, a little bit to try to chunk Huanfeng out.
Chains Corruption do come in, and there's no minion wave there, so Yagao takes a bit of damage under turret, but Elk does have red buff, and he's got a Bloodthirster, so no worries there. Hoya at least getting something on the side of the map. It's going to be TT's first turret as well, while their bottom and mid lane are getting threatened hard.
Trying to at least keep up and find any semblance of gold they can, but not even going to commit fully to the split push inside. Going to go for the reset now as another turret down for BLG. What would be a word for this game?
Loving.
It is loving.
Yeah.
Where's the love?
Oh, well, that's what pickoffs are, you know? Whenever you kill someone in League of Legends, you're sending a message. If you're not playing in OCE, you're sending a message, right? That you respect people, you love playing with people in League. League is a positive, loving game. Everywhere except OCE. And I feel like, Lyric, people don't understand that the true message of, you know, wrestling with one another, scrambling for fights like this is love. Zen has played on, sets up the Galio hero's entrance, and Galio has just experienced the full hug of BLG. Shun's ulti is beautiful, though. His Lamb's Respite keeps him alive from the all-in of TT and Elk. Gets him even with the flash away. Beichuan with the wasted summoner. And BLG just showing massive hearts like TT did when they came in at the start of the game.
I was going to say, if this is love, I mean, this game's starting to look like Valentine's Day for TT because BLG just keeps sprinkling it on. Hoya, ooh, think you're going to get punished?
I think he's dead. Yep.
Mac.
Varus arrow, it ain't worlds, baby. So BLG get Baron, and 4 marks, even though Shun hasn't had too many this game. This Kindred's also in charge, quietly enough. 61 CS over. Look at the replay again because BLG went for this while Shun just delayed the inevitable.
They go straight onto the back line. Lamb's Spike comes out to make sure that the 2 members dedicating damage to him aren't really doing anything. And it gives enough time for the rest of BLG to come with the turnaround and really just run them down. Doesn't matter for Flash. Elk still having that damage to follow you. Dragon coming up in 50 seconds. In terms of what he even hoped to contest this, I mean, you're kind of relying on a mistake, right? You're hoping on, once again, Vision, which, I mean, if they were in their jungle right now, potentially they could have picked him off. But
yeah.
Throwing out, again, those arrows from Huanfeng, getting Accelerate Shot Blast, and whittling them down fast enough before they can come with an engage. But whenever Solar flares up, I feel like that is just so hard, especially because On is showing, like here now, he's just so willing to walk right at TT, absorb damage, as long as he can guarantee some of the CC follows through.
As long as Elk is there to capitalize as well. Ulti time. Ucal again. Oh, Medusa slapped against the wall. This must be the Spartan unit. That's now going forward. Elk, he made a grave mistake. You guys know the answer with the Gale Force already burns out. And a jungler dead again. Beichuan, 0 and 5. Not having the best of it. But BLG continue to soar.
Not even having to use his flash despite playing so far forward. I mean, we said, right, it was going to be a slow burn. BLG definitely favored to win. And you hit on the stakes. Just getting towards that 8 series win streak. 9 has been what's able to guarantee you in the playoffs so far. So for BLG, who, if I remember correctly, don't really have the worst schedule left. Actually, it's not the easy schedule either. Oh, what? Bin's dead. You know what? Bin's been dead 100 times before. So BLG after this have TS, IG, and OMG. So actually, top of the table team and then other mid-table squads. So
true.
Yeah. Won't be the easiest time as we see how Bin went down.
But he's wearing a top hat. What monster could kill Gnar? Like, if there was a Gnar in real life, man, I'd let Gnar crash at my place. I don't know if is he like a dog? I don't know. I don't know if Gnar's like that. We'll find out. Beichuan, he's set up for this pick onto Yagao. A good shield of Duran, but he's still dead. Yagao, bit of damage on the back end, but that was Chain's corruption. Or rather, just a Cassiopeia tail that looked like a Varus ulti. Coming out of that one. Lyric, good pick when TT are against the wall.
Honestly, BLG just making enough mistakes for TT to be able to have a semblance of hope for them to, you know, they don't know if they're in a tunnel or not. They know it's dark where they are. They can hear some sounds coming from a distant direction. So whatever tier they're in right now, BLG are letting them know that it is possible to get out.
I don't know what those sounds are, though. Because if I'm TT, it could be like a horror show, right? Are you really going to walk that direction? Oh my god, mounting dread. E on Kindred is insane. Elk actually running forward, getting some good damage on the ulti. On is here by the wing without a solar flare, but still with a threat at the end of the blade. BLG going to heal this one up, and the push will continue in his Ucal. Looking for an ulti, but he's spotted out.
BLG shouldn't be able to get anything here, and Hoya's doing a great job of pulling pressure towards spot side to where Yagao has to go and answer, and that's not really what this comp wants to do, right? This comp doesn't want to be pulled up, and if it does, you want Bin, the one, to be there answering in response and actually able to keep up. Yagao definitely a tool to kill some of these picks, but should wrapping around the long way. They've
He's
still been angling for a pick this whole time.
He's ignoring the mark. That's how you know this guy is a true brother jungler. Onto Hoya. They're trying to force out his ulti. He flashes over the wall. BLG, where is the contingency plan? Well, his name starts with E and ends with K. This guy, he's ready to turn on. Now, Jayce is in this brush. Solar flare. Oh! So
Just barely
close.
missed.
That was the end of the brush for Hoya.
And look at the minimap. That actually bought so much time. Ucal pushing out in top, then pushing out waves in mid, getting some vision control down in the enemy jungle. Like, the fact that that didn't work out, sure, again, it might not be any huge game-changing wins, but you continuously buy time for TT under the belt. And also, like, when a game is prolonged, even if BLG do win out even later on in terms of scaling, you are giving yourself more times for someone to, you know, go down, to get like the cheeky fog of warplay that we saw Hoya able to find earlier. Chances for those to be able to come on through.
Cassiopeia will continue doing more damage. I'm not sure what the third item is there, as I am seeing, you know, Garen's mighty shield in the inventory. But
is that what you call it?
Well, I mean, Garen doesn't have a shield. He's got a two-handed sword because that thing's heavy. As On gets targeted. There's the ulti. Now, this is the Leona who brings in a Galio. TT, were you really sure about this? Beichuan, as he gets away, Bin now on the threat. They've used Beichuan's ulti, not the longest cooldown, but his flash is now down. Everything for Mr. On.
Still feeling comfortable just pushing forward. This is where we can start to see the poke really take over again, as long as they can't get in range. Accelerated Sean Blast. We've seen how much Huanfeng especially is able to do. The problem is, I don't know if TT can ever get in a position comfortable enough where they can like pit that onto an objective. They would actually need to actively kill a key member of BLG. And BLG are the ones who don't have pressure that they feel. They're the ones on solo. Even if you get to a situation where TT are on Dragon first, you can even potentially just pivot to a Baron off that. You have a Kindred, you have an Aphelios. You burn neutrals so damn fast.
Oh yeah, I mean, Kindred, especially now with Infinity Edge second. Shouldn't have hit a mark where that crit is huge, especially with the Mounting Dread, guys. Mounting Dread, excuse me. That 1, 2, 3 is big bam. Thank you, ma'am. TT now running in, but all they have to do is get whammed here by On. The Soul Flare comes through, buys the time, and down it goes Bin. About to go into Mega Gnar. You're going to choke the ulti. Really not that great, but the follow-up should be better as based on the target. But hang on a minute. BLG aren't all here. Elk only over the wall. They'll find themselves Beichuan, but they get a response. Yagao drops down, and BLG not as clean with the pivot as you would have liked.
I feel like Bin was pretty hesitant there because he had flash up. He could have found a huge monstrous ulti.
True.
But maybe thinking like, hey, the team isn't close enough to where they'd be able to follow up. Like maybe I get bursted out too quickly. I don't know. But had you connected it on the multiple members, it really feels like that would have been BLG's team fight to just clean up and, you know, maybe take an inhibitor, pivot back to a dragon, and really just bring this lead even further forward. No jungle on the side of TT, so BLG, they want to look for this fight.
That's it. They know that dragon's there. Get away from it, they say. One-man Aphelios ulti, but it's Yao, and he's just dead. Elk gets the range that he needs as Bin is shoved back by Hoya. And just like that, BLG will get themselves an Ocean Soul. And in fact, Huanfeng should be next up. He's run up against a dead turret and a Mega Gnar to be taken by Bin. Picks up his first kill of this game as with an Ocean Soul. This team is running at home.
And I mean, hey, Beichuan came in and their strat was to punish Shun, but he's been the one taking a fair brunt of the punishment. Hell, I highlighted Beichuan, Yao, and Ucal as the players to watch on this team. And Yao and Beichuan really being the ones who've gotten singled out so far and consistently being feasted on by BLG, who are now even threatening inhibitors.
There's a flag. This could be the final moment. Soulflare not going to connect, but the hero's entrance just obliterates Yao. TT support dead. Huanfeng's got 5 seconds. Elk does that much damage. That one Nexus turret is going to find its way into the grave as well. Minion wave being cleared out, the Baron buff utilized well, but they have Ocean Soul. The poke out from TT, so much less meaning in it as now for the last engage. Shun jumps in, away from Hoya, tries to cut it out. BLG want to finish it all here. TT will go back to their fountain as, ladies and gentlemen, Bin finally gets that flash ulti we were waiting for. A triple over to Elk, who's had an exquisite game. And BLG, apart from some minor errors, will make this a good-looking game 1.
TT versus BLG. Hysterics named it. It's the ending of Angel Beats. As we're not quite there yet. We're not quite as impressed as TT getting slammed. So they're probably feeling pretty down right now. But again, like, what an uncharacteristically non-LPL game. Very slow.
True.
BLG, I mean, some mistakes coming on through. Again, a lot of it being kind of positioning on the map, like whenever you're looking for a certain objective and not being on the stage in terms of like your 5 stacks spread across and how you get towards your next goal. TT were able to find some punishes to be able to stop the bleeding. But at the same time, you could just see, how do they prevent BLG from being able to just walk up and get on top of them? Even if you like chunk one member to half HP, suddenly then Leona traverses the distance, Galio follows through with his ulti, multi-man knockup, and you just have so many ways of dealing damage when you have, I mean, even like multiple carries, right? Kindred, Aphelios, so many things you have to worry about. We see as well, once it finds a lead, it can so easily take dragons and barons with the fact that you have those 2 marksmen online. And falling behind without really anything that could just safely vision or like help you contest to get space back, it just makes it even worse than if you had like a Scion or this or that or the other thing to try to find a comeback mechanism.
Every single time TT walked in, their outro to the fight was flashing, was losing a kill, like Beichuan every time. You hit the money that maybe with the draft here for TT, maybe it needs to be something safer. It needs to be something, more angled towards front to back with, I guess, less moving parts, right?
It needs to be less punishing.
Yeah. Because if they fall behind, they fall way behind, right? Like, we needed 3 winning lanes, essentially. Or at least 2.5.
100%. You wanted to see them get ahead. We had Cryo and Bot. You wanted to see enabling of mid even more. The problem was that we had those skirmishes start from a very early point in that bot side river where TT wanting to contest that Drake, which I understand when we're saying, hey, they should have some stronger isolated lanes. They should have pushes. They should be able to contend. Still, that doesn't mean you're going to be stronger as an overall group. They could have been a bit more patient, waited for things like Beichuan and Yaoyao's ults to come online, maybe even Chains of Corruption, and then start linking up. Get information with the honk shot. Oh, we now know where Shun is. We now have so many different ways of locking down whatever lane he isn't in and trying to set up for a kill to come forward. So it does feel like they got a little bit ahead of themselves early on in terms of trying to contest to be in the single avenue they were strong, and they got punished.
And again, look for TT. We talked a lot about the moving parts that do work consistently on this team. The likes of jungle, the likes of support. We didn't really see that sync up, and it's a shame. So hopefully after this break for game number 2, it's not going to be like, the ending of season 1 to Attack on Titan or Tokyo Ghoul, for example.
Why is it a weeb day today? Why are we being so weeby?
I don't know. To be fair, BLG, do have a video service. And
hey, don't worry. But I got this. Hey, guys, we'll be right back.